All right. Good afternoon. This is, what are we, September 2nd, Tuesday afternoon at 4 o'clock. And this is Ed McManus at the Monomoy Regional High School. Well, it's not so much a building site anymore as it has been. And it's the first one of these installments that I've been able to film without wearing my hard hat because we're no longer a construction zone. But we're here today. They had the back to school day for the teachers in the district wide teachers meeting. And in Wednesday, tomorrow, there's still some unpacking to do. And Thursday, the students show up. And the high school will have see it in its sort of pristine state. With me today are Anne and Michael Westgate. There are a couple of residents in Chatham. Michael's father was a Chatham school committee member back in the 70s and early 80s and was a big supporter of regionalization back then, as Anne and Michael were in our recent effort. And I want to thank them because in going through the process and the campaigns, they were always very supportive and always there by our side supporting this effort, and I want to thank you.
My father would be particularly proud of this day. He was on the Chatham School Committee from 72 to 84. He was a strong advocate of regionalization then. It failed then, but thanks to Ed McManus and Dave Whitcomb and a lot of other people, it's a reality today. I'd also mention there is a Westgate Teachers Fellowship Fund, which was given in his, all funds that were given in his memory, that of course were for Chatham teachers. And 6 months prior to the two towns voting for regionalization, the Westgate Committee voted that if the towns regionalized, then grants would be available for Harwich and Chatham teachers. And for 2 years now, we've already been making grants to teachers. Henceforth, obviously, everyone's a Monomoy teacher, but last year they were Harwich and Chatham teachers.
Well, I've asked Ann and Mike to come along today. One, because they weren't available for the ribbon cutting day and getting a tour there, and I know they're much interested in seeing the school. But also because of the work they do with the fund, they are such a big support for our schools. Likewise, here in Harwich, we have the Harwich Cranberry Festival. One of our efforts has always been to raise funds to provide scholarships for graduating high school students. And now, last year, we made them available also for students in Chatham for the first time in anticipation of the two towns coming together. But anyway, with that, let's go on in and we'll take a look around. All right, here we are in the cafeteria. This is just off of the community entrance. And I think this is the first time we've been in here when it wasn't either a construction zone or a storage zone or a workshop used by some of the different crafts during the building of the school to do work and do some of the fabrication work. But it's the floors are down, the walls are all painted, the skylights are in, the tables are in position for that first lunchtime crowd. I know this morning it was impromptu used by the middle school teaching staff to have their first meeting of the year. And in the future, with any number of community groups after hours, this will be a wonderful place to have meetings and different workshops and what have you. This is such a big advance over the cafeteria that was at Harwich High School, and I never saw the one in Chatham. But I'm assuming the middle school is making use of that. Yeah. So, anyway, if you can, we'll just sort of walk on out into the main entryway. Unfortunately, the gymnasium, they're still doing the finish on the floors in there, so we won't be able to go in yet. It'll be a couple of weeks before that's finished. They had some problems with the finish and had to strip a good portion of it. But here we are in the entrance, the main entrance, and the floors linoleum is in, and the one piece that's missing is up on the far wall at the end of the main atrium here. There is a one of the Monomoy M's with the shark logo is going to be mounted up there, but that's still in fabrication. But this is all ready to receive that first rush of students off the buses on Thursday. So, all right, let's take a break and we'll move on into the auditorium, which is now, I think, pretty much completely finished. Okay, here we are in the auditorium. It's pretty much as complete as it's going to get. Although there are a few less little pieces of the stage floor to put down, but they're having problems with this recent shot of humidity that we've had. The material isn't laying flat enough, so they suspended it until we get some drier weather. But we had on the ribbon cutting day, when it was so hot, it was wonderful being able to bring the crowd in here for the speeches. And this morning, as I indicated, the district had their first district-wide teachers meeting of the year in here. As you can see, there's the two levels of it. This level is accessible off of the main floor, and the upper level is accessible off of the second floor of the building. And total seating capacity is 580 people, and plenty of handicap seating, which our old auditorium never had, and also handicap access up to the stage area, which is a nice feature. The curtains and scenery, hoists and all is essentially professional level, so our drama and theater arts students will get some of first-rate training in all of the theater arts necessary to mount a good drama production. But it's just a wonderful space, and from the meeting I was at this morning, the acoustics are absolutely spectacular. All right, let's move on. We'll go upstairs and look at some of the classrooms up there. All right, here we are in the art wing. As you can see, there's still a few boxes to be unpacked, but all the tables made it over from the high school. Good solid rock maple art crafts tables, all set for action on Thursday, as well as some of the other equipment that was decided to be brought over instead of newly purchased. This is for the arts and crafts, the crafts part of the art program, pottery, woodwork, sculpture, those sort of three-dimensional types. And then through here, and we're going to try and kick a few stools out of the way so our cameraman doesn't trip. We'll go into what'll be the more painting, drawing, two-dimensional art room, which is a little bit more seemingly packed up with fewer boxes to still unpack, but it's well set. And again, as we mentioned before, all of these windows open down into the library and media center, but they also open up into the skylights to get some natural lighting in through here, which is very nice. And then the third art room, which I don't believe either high school ever had, which is a room that'll be set up for the growing area of digital graphics and design work. And we're still awaiting some of the digital computers to be brought in, but this is where that part of the program will be housed, as well as some of the parts of the photographic program. The part where, after taking the picture and developing it and printing it, this is where the students will learn to mat it and print it, and those sorts of things. All right, we're going to go into the classroom wings next. Okay, here we are up on the second floor in the academic area, and then we're in one of the classrooms. This is, I think, going to be, from the little notations on the board, classroom for foreign language. But it's also one of the classrooms that has the movable partition. So this classroom and the classroom next to it can be joined together for a larger two-class project or interaction or learning experience. And this one, I think they've done a fairly good job of getting everything packed away. Some of the classrooms still have some piles of boxes to go through, but we have all the student desks in, and no longer are they the type of desks where your chair is fixed to your table, but the tables and chairs are done separate. And if I remember correctly, when we looked at these, when it comes time to clean, I forget how this works. There we are. The chairs balance up so the custodians can come through and clean them, clean underneath quite easily. But it was a fun project with a number of the other staff to have this room full of different types of chairs and desks and go through all the different ones, and that bids were put on and test them, sit in them all. And I was asked to come, given that I have some stature, to see how sturdy they were. But they're all arrived and all set to go. If we can move on, we'll head on into the science wing. Okay, here we are in one of the science classrooms, and with me is Bill Burkhead, our new high school principal. Thanks for joining us, Bill.
Thank you for having me, Ed. It's a pleasure.
And as you can see, this is pretty much all set up and ready to go for class 2 days from now. All the tables are in line and stools are at the ready. Microscopes over by the window, and a variety of other supplies around the room. But this is such a leap ahead from our old high school.
Yeah, and I think that these rooms were designed by teachers and scientists and what's current in the field, and you can see even from the seating being bench style or stool style that way, and the new equipment we have. And if we get a chance to show the teacher workroom, which is a very large area to store supplies and chemicals and experimental things that we order for the kids that are cutting edge. I think that's an advanced thing that you won't see in most high schools that we have here at Monomoy.
Okay, well, let's just step around the corner here and see that area. Yeah. It's in through here, and it spans 2 classrooms. And come on out, Mike. And it has windows into each classroom, so whatever instructor is in using the prep space can still keep an eye on the classroom and what's happening in the classroom. But this is such a great leap ahead than some of the little dank crowded little storage closets that they used to use for supply storage.
Yeah, and absolutely, and I think it's important for our teachers to feel like professors and educators, and they are, and they do a great job. So they should be given the facilities to do their job well. And this is not only good for our students, but it's great for our teachers as well.
Yep. And that goes also for our students with the quality of the facilities they have. It's like they're doing real science rather than practice or play science.
They will. Sure.
Yep. All right. We'll move along now. All right, here we are just out in the sort of main concourse, or Main Street, as it's referred to. We're up on the second level overlooking the entryway, which is still sort of under construction out there, or deconstruction out there as they tear down the old school. But you can see the roadways coming in, which will come towards the building and then split with a small parking area for visitors to park in, and a road in front for drop-off of students. Will the buses be using the front of the building?
No, at this point, until the front is cleared, we'll be using the back for all entrances and exits, including bus and pickup and drop-off from parents.
But when this is completed, do you feel that you'll bring the buses to drop off in the front?
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay.
We'll have a whole separate plan for the school at that point when that's ready. Yeah.
Good. All right. And we'll just walk down the upper hallway off to down this hallway here. There's a large seminar room, sort of a mini lecture room, and the language lab and world communications room, and a couple of other smaller offices and spaces down that way. Here's the sort of grand stairway, as it's referred to, and we'll come on down this way and look into the media center and the courtyard. And in the courtyard, which is surrounded by the academic wing, it's got some space for seating. The lawn actually is artificial turf, save on the wear and tear of the rest of the schools of bringing in lawnmowers to mow it, although the trees and the other bushes are natural bushes, but a great space during lunch break for kids to get outside and get some fresh air. And then on the other side, we look down into the media center, or what we used to call the library, and that's where we'll head to next. All right, here we are in the media center, which for the most part is set up, although there's still a few carts of books that need to be unpacked. It was a sort of a major effort, as I've been told, going through the high school libraries from the two schools, deciding on what they had duplicates of, what they wanted, what needed to be weeded out, and putting it all together and getting it all on in order on the carts so they could be moved. And then now they're in the process of doing the final setup.
Yes, I want to thank our librarian, all the librarians in the district, for doing that and taking a lot of the time last year to collect all these books, put them in order, get them straight. But then, our librarian has been in here the last 2 weeks straight, working day and night just to unload books, put them in the right spots, make them useful and accessible for students. So I think it's really going to pay off, and all the time and effort that's gone into preparing how we want the room to flow.
And plus, getting a lot of the other aspects of the media center set up, some of which will be embracing the digital medias. That I know there had to be a lot of coordination with the people setting up the whole technology backbone for the building.
Yeah, and I think that all of our students will get HP Chromebooks 14s, and we anticipate a lot of them coming in here and using them. So a traditional library, yes, we'd like them to open a book and get on the comfortable seating, but we'd also, knowing the age of technology and that they'll be using this in their jobs and their lives, that they'll be able to come down here and do homework and class assignments and study work via the computer on our wireless network. We also held our first school committee meeting here last Wednesday, and when we move off over to there, we'll have a TV production studio, green room, and all of the video production will be through here for our school committee, but also our students will be taking classes and learning how to start our own school news and digitally and via cable, but also learn how to do reporting, how to make movies and videos and that kind of stuff. So I think that you don't see that in a lot of typical high school curriculums.
Yeah, as looking at the facility for the TV productions program, you have a control room, a studio, a green room, and then a room set up for students to edit all the work they produce, which is a tremendous facility. And then this is with cameras in various locations around the room, like you said, is set up to have the school committee meetings in and to broadcast live from eventually, as will, as I understand it, the capacity for live broadcasts from the auditorium and the gymnasium.
Right, video and music can flow in and out.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So this is quite a facility, and on the outside, just out through the window there's a seating area that's sort of an amphitheater that students can make use of. So a whole variety of experiences are possible. All right. Well, that wraps it for the media center. And the one last area, we'll just take a duck in to your office and show people where they'll show up first when they come for a visit.
Great.
Okay, here we are in the what will be the main entryway of the school once all the roads and landscaping is done out front. This is where the main part where folks will enter through, and behind me is the administration office, which we'll go through quickly, show you where you'll come to have your introduction to the high school when you come by for a visit. But it's a nice, airy, grand space to have to welcome the students every day. And on the wall over here, a number of the faculty and staff and members of the community are working on an art installation, which will be set in on a number of different panels. And over time, those panels can be changed out as different artwork is developed and created for that space. How's your new office, Bill?
It's the best office I've ever had. So it's good because I plan to spend a lot of time there. So I love it. Absolutely love it. Yeah.
Great. Okay, with that, let's head on through and we'll just take a quick walk through. Here we are in the sort of administration, the front desk, so to speak, where you come in, sign in your student if they're late, and those sorts of things. But the administrative staff, secretarial staff, will be stationed here, attendance clerk, and that sort. And then back around through here, we get into the office ways for the principal, vice principal, and the third office is for to be determined. Okay. Storage and mailing area here. Through the door at the far end is the counseling office in center, which has rooms for each of the counselors, plus some conference rooms for students to meet in a group with their parents or other educational professionals, or a little bit larger conference room for if there's maybe a college recruiter on campus who wants to talk to some students who are thinking of applying to their college. But this is a nice, I think, warm, professional environment that will function well as the administrative hub of the school.
Yeah, and I think that's important that people feel welcome to come here, and certainly the people make the building, not necessarily the building, but the building's beautiful and it's a nice, warm, welcoming environment. And we walk into our guidance suite. We've already seen that in motion with students and parents and families coming in to sign up their students, get their schedule straightened out. There's plenty of room to sit down, spread out, converse with your counselor, have your privacy if needed, in a professional and caring way, similar to what a small college would offer. And I think that's been the feedback we've been getting from the parents and counselors, that it just feels, spacey, roomy, comfortable, but that their needs are met on an individual basis. So I think that's what we're going for.
Good. Well, before we end up, I just want to come over here and put the question to Anne. You know, you and I, we've worked on this for several years, getting the approvals. Is this sort of what you had in mind when we started working on it?
Absolutely. But the true test will be how the kids come in and react to it.
Well, from early reports they're reacting very well, as I understand. I've been here a couple days last week when the classes were in for orientation, and the kids were pretty impressed and looking forward to starting their school year.
Well, we're looking forward to continuing supporting the teachers through the Westgate Teachers Fellowship Fund.
So, and through the Cranberry Festival with scholarships, we'll continue to support the students as they move on to their next endeavor. But with that, I want to thank, this is probably the last tour we'll be doing on the construction project. We may do one in a couple months to go over some of the outside as that gets finished, the demolition finishes up. But it's been, for me, a lot of fun to be able to do these tours and to keep everybody up to date on the progress of this program. This is a project that I first got involved with when I was elected as a selectman 10 years ago, and to have it come to fruition is something that makes me proud. And I know, looking at what we've developed here, I think we have something that make both of our towns very proud, and something all of our students, I think, will be very proud of in the years to come. Anyway, thank you. And this is Ed McManus signing off, the Monomoy Regional High School.